Hello, welcome back to EPG. I'm, of course, Greg, your host. Unless you are living under a rock, you realize that it is an election year in the United States, which kind of means it's an election year in the entire world. And the reason for that is because in a lot of countries, America has a very important stance. There are trade policies, there are monetary policies that affect the whole world, and people want to know what's going on in the United States as far as who is going to be in control. That's the first part of it. The second part is that American news, whether it's political or cultural, is reported, especially in the developing world, as kind of a distraction from what is going on with their own kind of politicians at home, highlighting scandals or cases or things like that or legislation in the U.S., so that way it kind of diminishes any of the other scandals that may be happening locally. So, that being said, there is a sort of etiquette that I had to learn the hard way when I was traveling the world, and that is the discussion of politics. So, it is okay to give your opinion about everything that's happening in the United States when you are abroad. I would just refrain from talking in extremes. So saying that everybody that follows this guy is a Nazi or everybody that follows this guy is a communist, they're going to take whatever you say as gospel. So it's important to give your opinion and only your opinion, and don't, work in extremes, because that will, again, trickle back to these people's families, maybe these places of business. So it's important to only speak about yourself, as I said, not in extremes. It also works on the other way too. So you can ask people their political opinions, but do it in a respectful manner. Even in places, I would say that more in Western Europe, politics is like a sport. Where they will give you information about all their candidates and everything freely, without any kind of consequences that may come from that. In other places that are such as authoritarian, or places that used to be authoritarian, it's still a very tricky subject to discuss politics openly. So don't ask... If you happen to travel to China, don't ask somebody what they think of Chinese communism. Or if you're in Vietnam, don't ask somebody what they think of Vietnamese communism, especially out in public, because people are listening and people can be reported depending on what their answers are. If you develop a rapport with somebody, you're in their home, you are not out in the open, then yeah, it's okay to ask for their opinion, but be ready for them not to give it to you or to kind of dance around. But yeah, it's just about being respectful and understanding that the freedoms that we have in the United States do not trickle outward to the rest of the world. So, that being said, thank you very much for your time, and get out there.